Okay, so we're almost done. We're about to get to Larry's director's notes, find out what actually is going on in his mind. But first, I'd like to share what others have said to me about what it is like to work with Larry. Understand, if Larry continues to direct musicals, I will have no choice but to forward a summary of all this to the Charlottesville Music Teachers Association to be forwarded to all teachers, and of course links to all this in case they're interested. I will not have it on my conscience if one of my colleagues has to go through what I've been through. And somebody did approach me last fall and say, "Why is Larry still directing musicals? Did you report what's going on in there?" Another accompanist wrote me, and usually, by the way, these things are always completely unsolicited, except for this one time. This is somebody I know well enough that I felt comfortable doing this. Usually I wouldn't say this, but when I asked her, "Have you experienced the horror of working with him?" The horror. Her response was, "Oh my God, horror really is the right word. I will never forget the scene he caused. I will never be put in a position where I have to work with him again. Never, never again." I guess this was a while ago, some years ago. I'm not surprised he hasn't changed. I think I'd have to agree with you. I mentioned mental illness. I think I'd have to agree with you that it goes beyond ordinary pain in the ass. Never, ever again. Seriously. If my son were a tandem type of kid and I was looking at private schools, I would think long and hard before enrolling him there and putting myself in any kind of position where I would have to deal with him professionally at all. That's how appalling his behavior was, and I will never forget it. This was many years ago. That's not even about his work. That's just about him. About his work, not quite as bad, but let's just get back to his work now that we've seen just what else it's like to have to deal with him at work. A choreographer tells me about one show which is very rich in harmonies and who's frustrated choreographing to half-assed slop for music, you know. This guy's a musical theater person. It's not just acting. It's acting, singing, and dancing. He says the show is very rich in harmonies. I didn't hear any harmonies. About another show, the show didn't really need choreography. It just needed clever staging. And Larry couldn't stage his way out of a paper bag. Another person wrote about his staging in Rent. I thought the direction was a little unimaginative. Unless directly involved in the dialogue, anyone else on the stage was usually just sitting or standing there. About the music and about the story and the explosion of self-expression. Back to this is a quote. "The band volume is too high, out of balance with the singers." Again, common in noisemakers or just people who haven't done their jobs. "I think it's hard on adolescent singers whose voices are still developing to have to strain against the volume of the band. It made the lyrics hard to decipher, which made the plot hard to follow." Remember, end quote. Remember, this is with microphones. I do need an answer to at least this question. Again, in Larry's letter, he writes, You offered to help if I did things your way. Piano, no band, etc. The etc. was that I helped the students learn the music, give them their entrances, prepare them so they're not feeling so bad about themselves, do the job of musical director that he listed in the paper, that he listed me in the paper as doing, and when confronted said, in our minds, that's what you are. So, in response to this offer, for me offering it to do it as long as he does it my way, his response was, Evan, thank you for your offer. We're okay. We're going with a band, Body Mics, spelled M-I-K-E-S, being raw, etc. We'll make hundreds of mistakes, and I'm committed to an explosion of self-expression, da-da-da-da-da. Towards that end, you're standing up for what you believe makes a lot of sense. We've already heard that, about that. And then he says, good fortune in your future ventures. I look forward to hearing your music in the right setting. Nice little jab there at the end, don't you think? In the right setting. Yeah, that's what the problem was. I'm not the right type of pianist for musical theater. Don't forget, when I'm earning good money as a background pianist for cocktail parties, people ask me when they can see me in the right setting, meaning in an actual show. These people are many, and many that were looking forward to seeing me in the right setting, and that I have had to tell these stories to, which is, again, why I'm posting this whole blog. So I never have to tell this story or think about it ever again. I can just say, go here. But about me voluntarily leaving while he was relying on me to do the show, it's in his letter right there. It says, you offered to help if we did things your way. And when I offered to do that, his response was, thank you for your offer, we're okay, we're going with a band, Body Mics, being raw, etc. Did he really think that if he sandwiched it in between, we're going with a band and being raw, etc., that I wouldn't notice? Or that by spelling mics, M-I-K-E-S, that somehow he would not have to acknowledge that these are not actually mics, M-I-K-E-S, as in more than one person named Mike, but mics, M-I-C-S, as in short for microphones? Seriously, what's his answer for this? I'll bet he's going to try to somehow tell you that body mics aren't microphones. Are you really going to buy this? Body mics are the correct mics to use in musical theater because the invisible mic stands that follow the thespians on stage don't exist. You can look this up in any book, and it's consistent with common sense. I'll try to remember to include a clip from a musical review. You'll see a microphone on stage. Microphone on a mic stand. It's a prop. It's part of the scene from the set of songs featuring all the ladies called The Ladies That Sing with the Band. They're singing in a club. It's part of the story. There's no sound coming out of this microphone. The sound is all coming from body mics.